Well, Karen, first of all, I think the allegations that have been leveled by the U.S. Trade Representative with respect to China on forced technology transfer through joint ventures cannot be substantiated. The report itself says there's no direct evidence, and they try to conjure up a lot of very soft, fuzzy, survey-based evidence that doesn't really prove anything. What I said when I wrote about my hopes for this summit is that a bilateral investment treaty that would eliminate the caps on market ownership would at least take this issue off the table, even if the U.S. Trade Representative is correct and there is forced technology transfer, which I disagree with. Under full ownership, it would no longer be an issue, but it would also have to be a reciprocal agreement allowing the Chinese to have access to wholly owned subsidiaries in the U.S., which would run counter to some of the recent legislation that has tightened up the so-called CFIUS oversight, which takes dead aim on the Chinese. I don't think this is going to happen, but I would like to see it in a perfect world.
Let's just reverse a little bit, because by the sounds of your conversation, your comments there, we need to tackle why you don't believe there are forced technology transfers. And this is a big issue to tackle, because I think a lot of investors are wondering whether Trump will just go political and try and cut some form of an arcade deal around trade, and maybe technology won't even be on the table. But why is it a big issue for some and not for you at this point?
Well, I just don't think there's any evidence to support it. I mean, if you read the Section 301 investigation of the U.S. Trade Representative that seems to confirm this suspicion, they state very clearly there's no direct evidence in terms of the forced aspect of this transfer. Certainly, there is a transfer of technology when two partners get together willingly in a commercial, legally binding agreement. They share people, strategies, distribution, products, and the technology embedded in those products. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But to say that it's forced is something that is a strong allegation. I was a senior executive on a joint venture between Morgan Stanley and the China Construction Bank for 15 years, and never once was I forced to turn over anything. We built China's first investment bank. And we worked together, and we shared a lot of things in that joint endeavor, and it's a solid institution today because of that.
Yes, Stephen, hi, it's Mike Howell here in London. Let me ask you one question. You're an expert on the region, well-known expert. How does this pan out in the long term? What is the end game here between China and the US? And can you frame that in the context of Mike Pence's speech in October? How important was that?
I think that speech is actually very important. I think the end game is this is a clash between two systems, and the U.S. Is objecting to a state-sponsored, quote, market-based socialist system that uses the largesse of the state to subsidize industrial policy, even though America's had industrial policy for decades, but implemented through the military-industrial complex orchestrated by the Pentagon. Japan does it. Germany does it. We're making it sound like China is the only one that does it. But this is a clash between two systems, and the issues of competitiveness, intellectual property, technology transfer are characteristics of this clash. And what Mike Pence said is that these are going to be long-standing issues, and that raises the possibility, echoed by a speech that Hank Paulson gave a couple of weeks ago, that we could be entering a Cold War with China that would last for a long, long time.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.